Hi, quick one about internet trolls. Fair use for educational purposes, so people know what to expect with these trolls. How to win an argument on the internet without losing your mind. Let's get that obvious and ultimately unhelpful piece of advice out of the way. If you're here and reading this post, you've already given in to the siren song of someone being wrong on the internet. But all is not lost. Change happens in you, my friend. Your perspective needs some adjustment for the sake of your own stress levels, so let Uncle Alex share their secret to not getting your life and sanity sucked out of you by randos on the internet. Assume until proven otherwise that the other individual is arguing in bad faith. Most of us are kind people who want to believe the best in others. I want to believe, I don't have beliefs, but I want to think that there's good in people. Yeah, I won't believe the best in others. I'd think there's the best in others. Deep in our souls, we want to think that an individual on the other end of the keyboard is just ignorant and wanting to be enlightened, or one argument away from understanding your position, even if they still agree, or at the least willing to listen. We'll put that out of your mind. Place your faith in humanity in a lockbox and stick it in the back of the closet for the duration. In my entire career of arguing with randos on the internet, I've done it a lot, thanks to being someone who was peripherally involved in climate change research, among other things, I've encountered a grand total of 3 people who were actually interested in having a good faith discussion. The rest were just, with varying degrees of verisimilitude, pretending in an attempt to waste my time. And this is what I mean by these globe earth heliocentric religion trolls. That's all they're there for, to waste your time. You're not going to convince them or anything. They're not there to be convinced, like it says here. If you're not sure what I mean by good faith and bad faith, arguing in good faith, the other individual is approaching this argument with honest intention. They are willing to listen, understand your position, modify their argument if necessary, and maybe, gasp, even change their mind. They are entering into this discussion with, at the very least, the intention of listening, and to be intellectually honest with themselves. But we know we don't get this from these globe earth trolls, because they're not there arguing in good faith. Not that there is an argument. There's no dichotomy or anything like that. It is what it is. It's science. There's no dichotomy in science. It's not globe earth versus flat earth or anything like that. This is a scientific question. Yeah. Objective reality is not up for debate or argument. Only subjective opinions are. Arguing in bad faith, the opposite of the above. The intention is basically dishonest and duplicitous. They're not in it to reach understanding or have their mind changed or even listen to a damn word you're saying. They just want to waste your time, make you mad, suck out your energy, or all of the above. This is the foundation you need to start on. This isn't a call to be rude or insulting out of hand, unless this addresses your ultimate goal. More on that later. But you need approach from word one with the understanding that the other individual is not actually interested in having a debate, discussion, or argument. Not that it's up for debate, but I'm just reading what's here. They're interested in pissing you off. Sure, be open to the possibility that they're the rare sort of unicorn that does want to have honest intellectual interchange, and then you can have a really satisfying conversation. But don't set yourself up for disappointment. And what this frees you to do is take a step back from what's in front of you and address it as a performance rather than an honest communication. Decide what your goal for the argument is. And no, it should never be, I'm going to change the other guy's mind or make them admit they were wrong. That is again setting yourself up for disappointment at best. Endless frustration at worst. You need to decide what you want to get out of this discussion when you will consider yourself satisfied or having won. Probably the most major cause of troll-induced frustration is that you're allowing some asshole who doesn't give a shit about you or facts in general to determine what the victory condition for this argument is, which means it's going to always be out of your grasp. Fuck that. You are choosing to engage at this point. You decide what you want out of this. Here's a few sample goals to give you an idea of what I mean. Thoroughly debunk the other person's bullshit, first point, ignoring any goalpost shifting or any other like red herring fallacy or anything like that. Yeah? Give the other individual enough rope to display the breadth of their utter bigotry and their utter, what they call it, stupidity. Yeah? And their utter logically fallacious reasoning and their sophistry and their emotional manipulation tactics and gish galloping and all that stuff that I've got videos on here about if you want to go and watch. Explain your argument in full for the benefit of anyone watching. See how long you can counter-troll or insult the other person publicly. This is not an approach I tend to use except for that time I repeatedly told the anti-trans guy to go fuck himself. But goddamn, that was really satisfying. Well, okay, well, like I said, that's not me saying this. This is bloke that wrote this. And so on. The point is knowing what you want out of this exchange and pursuing that goal rather than being tricked into playing a game that you cannot possibly win. And if you don't have a goal for this particular encounter, if there's nothing you want out of it, skip directly to point 5. You don't owe anyone free access to your time, energy or expertise. Mute, block, move on. Just ignore them if you don't want nothing out of it. Remember, all public argument is performative. When you're a scientist choosing to engage with obvious trolls, the question is often why you would want to waste your time like that. The thing you need to keep in mind is that you are never arguing for the sake of changing the mind of the person, sea lioning you. We'll have a look at sea lioning in a minute. I think I've done a video on it the other day anyway, so if you want to go back and have a look in the ones I've done over the last few days, it's in one of my last 4 videos. I'll put a link in the description to the one where it's got sea lioning in, so you can go and have a look. You're arguing for the people who are witnessing this public exchange, and there are a lot of reasons why you might want to do that. Don't matter if you're a scientist choosing to engage, if you're anybody choosing to engage, anyone in this topic choosing to engage with any of these globe earth religion believer trolls, including they're disseminating incorrect facts and there needs to be pushback and debunking for future reference. So when we see these trolls coming in and putting in incorrect facts and logical fallacy and all that sort of stuff, we need to push back for future reference. So when people come in the future to these videos, they see that they're being logically fallacious and sophists and stuff like that, and we give them the information that we want to be put out there in our replies. They're espousing hateful, unacceptable views, and it needs to be demonstrated that no, their viewpoint is not universally accepted. They're acting as if their opinion is fact, and then an alternative viewpoint needs to be offered. It needs to be demonstrated that their blanket statement is proven false by your very existence. This is a non-exhaustive list, but keep in mind that you are almost never trying to convince the individual you're actually talking to. They approached in bad faith. Well, these globe earth trolls are approaching in bad faith. So you are addressing the silent watchers who may actually be listening in good faith. Yeah? So keep that in your thoughts before your frustration gets the better of you. If you want to really give yourself a pep talk, think about how this asshole that started shit with you is maybe doing you a favour, because they're giving you a chance to reach others. Always remember, their arguing is just a performative. Do not get distracted. There's a thing skeptics call the Gish Gallop. It's named after creationist Dwayne Gish. I've done something like this on one of my live streams about Gish Galloping. who used to derail debates by posing an endless series of questions or counterpoints to the frustration of scientists. Because the fact of the matter is, when the other guy is a total bullshit artist who doesn't actually care about facts, they will always be able to throw out more random shit than you can sling back, even if you have the fastest research fingers in the West. You see Gish Gallop-like moments in a lot of internet arguing. Someone poses a lot of questions they obviously have no real interest in having answered, but it's sure going to waste a lot of your time. Or people will try to distract you by being insulting, by moving the goalposts, which is the red herring fallacy, and as well, and shifting the goalposts as well, or by changing the topic. Yeah. Keep your eyes on the prize. Remember your goal and keep going for it, and then walk away. So then what? After you've had your performative argument and reached your goal, walk away. Because you've accomplished what you were after, feel free to block or mute or otherwise ignore any further attempts to engage. And if that means ye old random asshole runs off to their sweaty friends and claims they won because they made you block them or ignore them, who the fuck cares? Winning and losing are relative. It's not about winning or losing, but it's relative anyway. Despite what many people seem to believe deep in their souls, you have won because you accomplished the goal you set for yourself. The other individual declaring victory does not in any way detract from that. The fact is, you have zero control over someone else's smugness level. All you can control is the way you choose to address your end of the argument. And when you come down to it, no matter how furiously they masturbate about how they made you mad on the internet, they're still a sad, pathetic arsehole who gets off on being a sad, pathetic arsehole. That is not a path you want to go down. Walk away tall. And the notes here is it's not permission for you to argue in bad faith. Even if you're taking that mental step sideways and understanding what you're about to do as a goal-motivated performance, it behooves you to still be honest in your interaction. This is a defence against trolls manipulating you, not permission to engage in the same behaviour you've come to hate. Yeah? Make the other guy admit he's wrong. Isn't such a great goal if you're having a good faith argument either, because it indicates an unwillingness to listen on your part. And I say this about even science issues that I've discussed with well-meaning but misguided people who weren't trolls. My goal wasn't to beat them into intellectual submission, it was to educate. Well, there we go, then there's his first problem. Shouldn't be doing that, but never mind. Well, there we go anyway. Says the fact that so much gets framed in terms of winning and losing is not great either, since it precludes compromise and places an arbitrary appearance of victory over things like, having actual evidence to back up your claims. That said, I'm using winning and losing here because most of these bullshit internet arguments effectively are contests with arbitrary rules, thanks to being initiated by bad faith actors. Well, there we go. We see this with these internet trolls, so I'm just giving you some information here about what they're up to and the best way to approach it. Like it says there, don't approach it with what they call it. Don't approach it thinking you're going to change someone's mind and stuff like that, because you're not. Yeah? What was that thing now we said here? Look, it was about sea lioning. Sea lioning is an internet slang term referring to intrusive attempts at engaging an unwilling debate opponent by feigning civility and incessantly requesting evidence to back up their claims. The term was coined in September 2014 by anti-Gamergate internet users to mock perceived online discussion tactics employed by Gamergate supporters. So there we go, sea lioning. It's an internet slang term for referring to intrusive attempts at engaging an unwilling debate opponent by feigning civility and incessantly requesting evidence to back up their claims. So basically, what they call it. We get these globe Earth trolls sea lining a lot. We see it in them where they like come and they're acting all nice and stuff like that and civil and nice, and then they start asking, like incessantly requesting that we show evidence to back up to back up the question about the shape of the Earth. Yeah, when it's not up to us to what they call it to back that up. It's not up to us to back that up. It's up to them to prove their claim, because the globe Earth is the affirmative claim, so the burden of proof is on them. Yeah, that's it, I think. Thank you.